Alrighty guys, welcome back. It's your host ID Jester. It's time to give you our Jester's Judgment for Wingspan. Give you 5 things that I really like about the game, 5 issues or problems I see with the game, and then give you our verdict. Is Wingspan soar high in the sky above other games, or is Wingspan for the birds? Let's talk about it here today in Jester's Judgment. Alright, so first we're going to talk about the pros. We're going to talk about the things I liked, things I think are good, things that are make this game stand out as one of the good ones. So, first things first, there's a ton of cards. So once you buy the base game, you buy some of the expansions, you're going to get a serious amount of different playing cards and special ability cards. And yeah, there's definitely a lot of variability in the game with all the different cards, all the different birds. I didn't even know there was this many birds, and of course there's tons and tons more than what we've got in the box. But holy cow, there's a ton of cards in the game, which is cool because it gives you lots of variable. I'm sure I've probably played this game 20, 30 times, and I'm sure there's cards I've never even seen. Probably never, we'll see every card in the game. Number 2, variable setup, which I do enjoy as well. The fact that you're drawing random... You're going to be drawing random specialist abilities for each player. So they're going to have a choice of what kind of, specialty they're going to go for. Variable setup with the different rounds, scoring. So every game you're going to play is going to be different. You're not going to go in and go, oh, okay, I'm going to do this on the first turn, and then this on the second turn, and this on the third turn. There's always going to be things that you're going to be able to do that's going to adjust it and make it different for you. So variable setup, if you like variable setups, this is definitely a great game for you. Number 3, feels like a progression as you play through the game. You feel you're putting birds down in your different territories, and in the beginning of the game, you're going to activate one area and you're going to be able to get 1 egg, or you're going to be able to get 1 resource, or you're going to be able to get 1 card. But as you progress through the game, all of a sudden you're going to be able to get more. You're going to be able to get 2 or 3 eggs, and you're going to be activating birds that are already in play. So it feels like as the game progresses, things are happening. It's not just, oh, I can spend a turn to get 1 resource. Yay, I did that way back in the beginning of the game. No. In this game, you feel like you're progressing forward because you're doing things, and as the longer the game goes on, you're going to be able to get to do more things. So definitely a nice progression that makes you feel like, yes, I've been playing this game for a while now. Number 3, components. I really like it. It comes with its own little dice tower, which is kind of cool because how many games out there come with their own dice tower? Not very many, okay? There's a couple, but not very many. And the dice tower is actually a birdhouse, which is super cool. It's the thought that went into this, and they probably, somewhere along the line, they said, oh, you know what? We should include a dice tower that's actually a birdhouse. And somebody was like, no. And then they're like, yeah, we should do that. And then, sure, let's do it. So I like games, I love companies that do things like that and add these special little touches to the game. The card quality, the artwork you can see on the box is awesome. All the card quality is really well done. Some of the player boards are a little drab, and it could have been a little bit better. But, I mean, overall the components are really nice. Big, thick, chunky dice you're rolling in your birdhouse roller, and I think it's really good. The components. And last but not least, kind of what I just mentioned a little bit with what goes along with components is the artwork. The artwork in this game is really, really good. It really gives you a sense. It's not photographs. It's actually paintings or watercolors or whatever of the different birds, and it's very vibrant and very colorful, and it gives you a nice overall great impression. You feel like looking at the cards because they look really neat. And instead of just reading the text, a lot of games, when you're reading the cards, all you care about is the text. That's all you care about is the text and the numbers that are on it. In Wingspan, sure, the text and the numbers are the important part, but you do enjoy looking at the birds. And I'm not a bird guy. I can care less about birds, but I still find myself looking at the artwork and checking out the different birds. And I do appreciate it. So those are the good things. Those are the best 5 things about the games. Tons of cards, variable setup. Definitely feel as you're progressing through the game, things are happening. You're going to get more and more things done. The components are great, and the artwork is great. So that's kind of the good things. But, unfortunately, not everything is so rosy, my friend. No, not everything's perfect. No such thing as a perfect game. So let's talk about some of the, again, just because these are the cons doesn't mean it's like game breaking or game altering. This is just things that I didn't enjoy or I wish would have been a little bit better or things that might, come into play. So keep that in mind. Just because these are negative things doesn't mean, again, it's like, oh my God, this game is no good because it's got all these negatives. Wait for the final verdict to find out if this game soars above the others or if it's for the birds. So, the cons. Number 1, solo modes conflict. So you have a solo mode, and I play this game a lot solo. And you have a solo mode in the base box, and then you have a solo mode in the Oceanics box, and then you have another part of a solo mode in one of the other expansion modes, and they all 3 don't work together, and they don't mesh together, and you can either use this one or you can use this one, but if I use this one and I use the cards out of the Oceanics box, can I use the cards out of the Oceanic box if I use just the base one? There's no directions. There's no information. There's no kind of overview on, okay, if you're going to play this mode solo, do it with these cards. You can include all the cards, or you can't include all the cards, or you should include all the cards. Nothing. You got to try to mix and match it together, and it's just terrible. I hate when companies do this. This is not just in this game, but it's other games out there where they start throwing out expansions and they want to change things, but they don't tell you how do you incorporate all these things together. It's just a mess out there. It's just a mess, and it's going to go with some of the other things we're going to talk about. Number 2, expansions not growing. What do I mean by this? The expansions don't really mesh all together with the core game. They have all their own kind of, they have their own thoughts and ideas, and they add new elements to the game, but they don't help with one another. They're all kind of their own expansion that helps itself expand. So you have Asia expansion, and it deals with all of those expansions and those birds and the new mechanics that they incorporate. And then you have Oceanic, which is a completely different expansion, and it updates it with new, new mechanics and everything. But they don't talk about how the 2 expansions interact with one another. And you have to kind of figure out, like, if I put all this stuff together, can I use this? How does this incorporate with this? It's like all the expansions they were just thrown out separately instead of helping the game grow. I think an expansion should take the base game, add to it, and then expand on it. And then the next expansion should take everything that's coming before it, add its new mechanics, and expand on it. And this is not like that at all. Not like that at all. It's very individualized expansions. Great expansions still, but they don't kind of mesh together and kind of give you this solid experience. Number 3, many cards, and we're talking a huge stack of cards. And I'm not kidding you, if you were to stack up the cards right now, this is how big the stack of cards would be if you have all the expansions. And I do like that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. But when, like, every card uses the same mechanic over and over and over and over and over and over again, it's like, okay, I just have 600 birds that do the same thing. There's like 5 different main powers, and those powers are just used over and over and over again. Oh, tuck a bird behind this bird, or get a resource from the resource bin, and tuck that resource on this card. And it's like the same powers are used over and over and over and over and over again. So unfortunately, yes, you're not going to see like there's a good amount of birds, but they only do the same thing. And the only thing that's different is, the size of the bird and how many eggs they can hatch and a few other things. So it just kind of, yes, it seems like they didn't add enough new things to the game. They just added more birds that do the same thing. Number 4, because of this huge stack of cards, if you're playing let's say the High Botanist, and you need all birds that go into your wetlands, well, you could be drawing cards that you don't get in the wetlands at all. The last game that I played, my character's ability was to take the forest birds, and I had to build them ascending or descending. So I had to build them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm talking about the birds' victory points. So it either was ascending or descending. So, of course, I got like a bird right off the bat in the forest that was a 2. So then I was waiting on a 3. And I finally got a 3. And then I had to wait on a 4. And it took a long time. And I finally got a 4. And then I needed a 5. But I couldn't get a 5. So I got a 6. So, like, it took forever to try and get these cards to match up. But because you got so many cards, you might never see the cards you need. So that's just an example of what I'm talking about. Your requirements to do certain things are based upon a huge stack of cards, and you may or may not get those cards, and you might just be screwed because the cards that you need, you don't get to. Because you don't see of this huge stack of cards, you're going to go through a little stack of that whole stack. So if your cards don't come up, you're just screwed, I guess. Number 5, the other thing that is kind of, it's just a downer, is that the game is only 4 rounds. You play 4 rounds and it's over. So if you finally get your engine going, you get your pieces on the board, you get your birds, you get boom, 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 and now I'm rolling, I'm ready to kick in, and the game's over. And it's like, wait a minute, I just started getting things going. Why is the game over? It almost looks like this game would have been better or suited if it was 5 rounds. A little bit longer game. I know that's probably a little taboo for some people out there. I wish this game might have lasted a little bit longer because, again, this is an engine building game where you're trying to build your faction, your birds up, and get them to all do things together. If there would be more time to sift through the cards, to get the cards to work together, then you can put the cards into play. Get all your special abilities to line up and do things. And that's why I think WINGSPAN is actually better than Wingspan. Spoiler alert, don't let anybody tell you. WINGSPAN is actually better than Wingspan because of the fact that there is more time to do things in WINGSPAN than Wingspan. Now, with all that said, a lot of negatives. Again, solo mode's conflicting. The expansions don't grow upon one another. They're all just haphazard. A lot of the cards use the same powers. You may or may not get the the cards that you're looking for, and it will be over before you actually get to do what you want to do with your setup of your birds. And 30, 40 minutes and the game is done because you're only playing 4 rounds. So with all that done, what is my verdict of this game? What do I think of Wingspan? Wingspan for me is a top 100 game of all time without a doubt. And in my opinion, it's probably in the top 20, 30, maybe 40, depending on things. It's got a great multiplayer mode. It's got a great solo mode. Although you have to sift through and figure it all out yourself, and you got to try and figure out what kind of solo mode you're looking for and how you can do that with all the different solo modes that are incorporated in all the different expansions. When you figure it all out and you sit down and play it, you enjoy the artwork, you enjoy the cards, you enjoy the time. It doesn't overstay its welcome. Yes, I would have liked to have 5 rounds, and I would have liked maybe a little bit longer game, but this game doesn't overstay its welcome, which a lot of games do. A lot of games play an hour and a half when they should play an hour. A lot of games play an hour when they should play for 30 minutes. In this game, I think it plays 40 minutes, and it would have been better if it played in an hour. A little bit longer, give you more time to set up things, more time to delve into the whole engine building part of the game, and give you more time to enjoy it when your birds are finally out there and you've got a super cool thing going on. Use the super cool thing, not let the game disappear. So anyways, I still think it's a great game. Top 50 game of all time for sure. It's super solid. If you're looking for a card engine building game, I am going to rate this a 90%, which is going to make this a great game. Absolutely great. Am I going to Jesterify this? You know I'm going to Jesterify it. Anything in my top 100 is going to be Jesterified. We're going to Jesterify this. Boom. Wingspan's been Jesterified. We're going to rate this great game 90%. I know I've done some reviews of a lot of games recently here on the channel, and a lot of them have been rated really well. Trust me, I don't rate all my games really, really well. It just so happens the last few games that I played, which are Charioteer, what was the other one that I played just the other night? What was the other review? I'm trying to remember. What was it? I just did another review of Marvel Champions. Of course it was Marvel Champions, right. So, I mean, we're talking about some of the best games ever in existence between Marvel Champions, Charioteer, Wingspan. I'm going to be doing a review for coming up on the channel soon. I'm going to be doing a Bullet review on Bullet Heart and Bullet Star and Bullet Orange. So look for that review coming up next time. That is another great game. So of course it's going to be rated really high. I've got to find something that I don't enjoy that I've played recently and do a review of it. So that way everyone knows I don't just rate all the games really, really good. Because I don't. I don't rate every game really, really high. And it just so happens this one is an all-time classic in my opinion. And well worth your investment, well worth your time. I know there's a digital version, but the cards and dice version plays just as good. And obviously still some issues. But once you sift through it all, it's still a great game to sit down and play. So thank you so much for watching Jester's Judgment. The verdict on this one, bam, one Jesterify. We're going to give this a 90%. It's a great game. Let me know your thoughts, comments, suggestions down below. If there's a game that you would like me to review, let me know. And we will try to get that to the channel someday very soon. Inside Pitch might be a great review, actually. That is a very good suggestion, Phoenix. Very good suggestion. Phoenix, I also wanted to talk to you about tomorrow is H.P. Lovecraft's birthday. I wanted to see if you wanted to do something online together. I know that you had mentioned you were going to do something, but I'll email you anyways. Everyone, thanks for coming by. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. If you enjoyed this review, if you disagree or agree with me, let me know in the comments section down below. We would love to have a discussion about this. If there's something you think I'm missing, let me know. And we will see you all down the line. Take care, everybody.